Secrets to a Deadly Americana. The Americana is one of the most famous submissions in Jiu-Jitsu, and by the end of this video, you're going to know how to actually make it work. Not just against someone who gives it to you, not just against a brand new white belt, against better people who know how to defend, roll, straighten their arm, save it with the other hand, and make you feel like the submission disappeared after your first month of training.
It did disappear for a lot of people.
Because they learned the beginner version, and then got rolled into next week. I'm going to show you how to set it up, how to finish it, how to avoid getting rolled, how to deal with stronger people, and a few bonus hacks that make the Americana way more useful than people think. Ready?
Not emotionally.
Perfect. Let's get into it. The Americana looks simple, but the details are what makes it work. For the beginners, the Americana looks like this. I isolate the arm, bend the elbow, control the wrist, and rotate the shoulder until he taps. This attacks the shoulder, especially that rotator cuff area.
My shoulder would like to leave.
It may submit a formal request. It looks easy, but against someone who is good, there are a lot of little details that decide whether this works, or whether you get rolled, lose mount, or end up wondering why you ever learned the submission. Most of the time, you're going to get the Americana from mount or side control. Today, we are going to spend most of the time on mount. Then I'll show you how I like to attack it from side control too. Do not try to force the Americana with one arm. This is the first mistake. When I'm mounted and his hands are tight together, it is going to be hard to just grab one arm and shove it to the floor. If I use one arm against one arm and we are close to the same strength, that can be a fight.
This is my emotional support arm.
And I am removing it. Instead of one arm versus one arm, I make two of my arms beat one of his. I find the wrist and connect both hands to it. Then I'll use my body weight to pin it to the floor. Not just my triceps, not just a little arm push, my body weight. If he's stubborn, I may have to punch it down a little, but the goal is simple. Two arms on one wrist. My body weight pins it, and now the arm is isolated. If you skip this and just try to shove the arm down with one hand, that is why your Americana is not working. Use a monkey grip so the arm cannot slip through your thumb. Once I pin the wrist, I do not want to grab like this. If I grab with my thumb wrapped, he can straighten his arm, and the wrist can slide right through this gap between my finger and thumb.
I found the exit.
No, you found the reason we do not grip like that. Instead, my thumb comes over the top like a hook. That is the monkey grip. Now if he tries to straighten his arm, it runs into all of my fingers instead of slipping through my hand. After I pin the wrist, my elbow drops right to his neck. This creates a frame and keeps the arm trapped. So the start is pin the wrist, monkey grip, elbow drops to the neck. That is the beginning of the Americana. I go palm up first so I can scoop under the elbow. Once my first hand is in place, my second hand needs to connect under his arm. A lot of people try to come in palm down right away, but a lot of the time the knuckles will get caught on the triceps, and that's awkward.
That looked professional.
That looked like why people lose the arm. Instead, I come in palm up first. Once I'm underneath, then I turn the palm down. And again, no thumb grip here. I do not want to break my own thumb trying to break his shoulder.
That would be teamwork.
That would be terrible jiu-jitsu. So both grips are monkey grips. Now everything is connected. Wrist pinned, elbow framed, second hand underneath, both palms connected. Now we can start finishing. The wrist has to stay on the floor when you finish. This is one of the biggest details people miss. They get the grip, they start pulling the elbow back, and the wrist starts coming up. Now the shoulder has space. The pressure changes, and the finish gets weaker. I want the wrist pinned to the floor the entire time. From here, I drag his elbow down towards his ribs. Not up here, down here. A lot of people call this the paintbrush, but I do it the opposite of how people usually think about it. I do not lift first and then paint. I drive the elbow down first, then I only have to lift about an inch.
That inch was disrespectful.
Efficient. The closer the elbow is to his ribs, the less I have to lift. Less lifting means less space. Less space means less chance I get rolled. Most people stop using the Americana because they get rolled. They learn it as a white belt, they hit it on a few people, then they try it on someone better, they pin the arm, they start lifting, then this happens.
And now I'm on top.
And now people say, the Americana does not work. No. Your anchor did not work. The submission is fine. Your base got fired. So before I finish, I need to anchor myself to him. If I attack the Americana on one side, I anchor the opposite side. As I pin this wrist, before I even think about finishing, my opposite leg hooks in like a grapevine. Then I drop my hip bone onto his hip bone. And this is not just a lazy hook. It is a hook with hip pressure. Now when he tries to roll me, I activate the hook and stay attached.
I appear to be towing you with me.
Exactly. I am attached to the problem. If I attack the Americana on this side, I anchor the opposite side. If I attack on the other side, I anchor the other leg. Opposite side anchor. Hit pressure, then finish. That is how I stop getting rolled. Anchor first, then finish. Now watch the difference. I isolate the wrist, 2 arms on 1. Body weight pins it. Monkey grip. Elbow drops by the neck. Second hand scoops under, palm up, then palm down. Wrist stays on the floor. Opposite side grapevine. Trust me, it's there. Hip bone drops into his hip. Now I drag the elbow down to the ribs. If he taps here, great. If he does not, I lift 1 inch.
I would like to return the shoulder.
Store credit only. This is the Americana people stop doing because they get rolled. But if you anchor first, it is still a very real submission. If he is too strong to isolate, I use that against him. Sometimes I go 2 on 1, I punch the wrist down, and he still does not separate the arm. He is keeping everything tight.
This is called being responsible.
This is called delaying the inevitable. First, I can go back and forth. Sometimes moving side to side gets one arm to separate. But if the arm just will not disconnect from his chest, I change my goal. Instead of trying to force the arm down, I make him turn. If his body rotates and his top elbow comes up, I drop my chest on top of the elbow. Now he cannot easily bring it back. Then my hand comes around his neck and I go to the gift wrap.
I went from defending to gift wrap.
Holiday season will be here before we know it. From gift wrap, I can attack arm bars, head and arm triangles, back takes, and a bunch of other options. So if the Americana does not open the arm, it can still open the next attack. When they save the Americana with the other hand, they give me the gift wrap. This happens all the time. I get the wrist down and start setting the Americana, and before I can finish, he reaches over with the other hand to save it.
I'm helping myself.
You are helping me. The second this elbow comes up, he is making a mistake. I drop my chest behind the elbow. My hand comes around the neck, then I feed this arm over. Now I am back in gift wrap. From here, I can attack the back, attack the arm bar, or start working towards head and arm triangle options. This video is about the Americana, so I'm not going to go deep into those finishes right now, but understand the concept. If he saves the Americana, he is often giving you the next position.
So saving it was bad?
Emotionally, understandable. Technically, terrible. If he is too strong to finish, I turn the Americana into an armbar. Sometimes I get everything. Wrist down, elbow framed, grips connected, but he is strong, flexible, or just being extremely Keegan.
That is a medical condition.
Unfortunately, incurable. If I cannot finish the Americana, this grip is still very strong. So instead of forcing the shoulder lock, I lift the arm and push it across. It is very hard for him to free his elbow from here. That gives me time to slide up into S-mount. Then I lean, step over, and attack the armbar. So the Americana is not just a submission, it is a threat that can open the armbar. And if you want more information on the armbar from S-mount, check out that video in our technique and breakdown playlist. If he gives me the tap, I take it. If he refuses, I make him deal with the next problem. This is the wrong looking Americana that actually works. Sometimes I get the wrist down, but I know he is waiting to roll me, even with the hook. Some people are really good at kicking the grapevine out and hitting that Heisman style escape, where they push your armpit or elbow. So I use this little hack. I keep all my weight on this wrist. My elbow is locked out. There is no way he's just pulling this out. Then my other hand comes under his head and I feed the head into the mix. Now I have his head and the Americana. This looks like the beginner version people do by accident, except I am doing it on purpose.
So we are stealing this from beginners now?
Only the part that works. Now if he tries to roll me, he has to bring his face with him. It is much harder for him to push me over when his head is trapped. Now I finish from here. It looks wrong, but it works. And that is my favorite kind of rude. If the regular Americana stops working, I switch to the one-arm Americana. Sometimes I have the grip. I'm doing everything right, but he is flexible enough that I cannot get the break from here. This is as far as the two-hand grip lets me go. So I replace my right hand with my left hand. There is a little piece of meat right here that I can grab. Now that I only have one hand controlling the lock, I can push the arm much further back. My other hand goes out for a base in case he tries to roll me. Now I can finish with one hand.
That felt illegal.
Legal enough? And sometimes there might even be a little wrist lock feeling here too. So if the normal Americana hits the wall, switch the grip, base with the free hand, and finish the one-arm Americana. From side control, I like to attack the Americana from Keegan. The reason I like it is because his arm is available and I have a lot of space to attack it. But the same rule applies. I am not just grabbing his arm and trying to push it down with one hand. He is too strong for that. I need to pop it open. This is where I use the phrase smack, grab, turn, take.
That sounds like a terrible children's book.
But a very effective submission system. For the side control Americana, think smack, grab, turn, take. First, smack. I pop the wrist open. Second, grab. Notice, I did not wait until his wrist is perfectly planted on the floor before my second hand comes in. It is much easier to move his wrist from here to here than from all the way up here to perfectly flat. So I smack and grab right away. Again, smack, grab, and turn. I turn my body square to his. My elbow drops to the floor and my knee comes up to his hip. Same principles as mount. Wrist stays on the floor, elbow comes down to the rib, then I lift and get the tap. Smack, grab, turn, take. That is a side control Americana. Against better people, I expect them to straighten the arm. When I attack the Americana from side control, I do not assume he's just going to let me bend the arm and finish. A lot of better people will straighten the arm.
Look, I fixed it.
You just changed the submission. If I already expect that, then I am ready. I did not wait. The second he straightened it, I was already attacking the straight arm lock. From there, depending on how he turns, I can start looking at other attacks. Well, those are different submissions for a different video. The important part is this. The Americana is not just one technique. It is the start of a chain. If he bends, I Americana. If he straightens, I straight arm lock. That is how you stay ahead. You do not have to throw the Americana away after white belt. A lot of people learn this submission early, try it on better people and get rolled, then stop using it. But the Americana still works when you use the details. Use two arms against one. Pin the wrist with body weight. Use monkey grips. Drop the elbow by the neck. Keep the wrist on the floor. Drag the elbow to the ribs before you lift. Anchor the opposite side so you do not get rolled. And if the Americana does not finish, use the reactions. Gift wrap, armbar, head and arm triangle, back take, one arm Americana, straight arm lock. The Americana is not just a beginner submission. It is a control system that creates problems.
Most of those problems were mine.
Correct. Practice these details. Give it a try. And you will start hitting the Americana on better people again. If you like this video, make sure you subscribe and drop a comment telling us what position or submission you want us to cover next. We'll see you in the next video.